Hello, DM, Pete the Patriot, Margot, how are you doing? And let me see, who was that first one I saw up there? 12B Georgia. Glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. Uh, it's the first time I went live and I had people already in the chat. I think that's fantastic. And I want you to know that I appreciate all of you uh, coming in here and supporting me. I'm telling you, I was thinking today, since I'm only in here with a couple of my friends, I feel like I can talk to you a little bit until we get some more people in here. But I was actually, uh, I was on a downer today. I was thinking about just giving up this stuff. I was thinking about just not doing any more live streams and not doing any more videos. Seems like I'm beating my head against the wall, and I don't seem to be getting anywhere here lately. Florida Jim, Linda Carter, CLC in Florida. But I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on doing what I do because I have people like you that support me. And battery addiction, glad to see you. I'm not Jim. I'm not going to give up. I was just on a downer for a little while. YouTube or something is really messing with my subscribers. Uh, I lost 12 subscribers today uh, in like an hour, and it just sort of ticked me off. And I've wondered and I've thought. I've talked to uh, American Joe and other people here on YouTube, and they're having the same problem. So I'm going to stick with it. I don't think I have that many people not wanting to hear what I have to say. Sandra and McGibbon, Sam, I am glad you're here. It's always good to have 12B Georgia in here, another Georgia guy. But I want everybody, as this goes on, if you have a wrench, to throw out my link, throw out your links, throw out the link of anybody in here that has content. That's what we're all about, is the Patriot family and helping each other grow. Just for the people who may see this on the replay, when I ask you to hit the like button, leave me a comment. Hit the bell icon so you'll know if I'm going live or doing the video. I'm sure DM will be putting my not my PayPal, but I'll go ahead and touch it since I said that. My PayPal information will be somewhere in the chat. Fred Knott, Rooster Cogburn, thank you so much for being here. And I know that DM or someone else will put up my internet phone number. And my internet phone number, let's see if I can stick it up here. It is 404-900-1777. Feel free to call me anytime. We can talk about anything. And we may even come up with a panel out of that discussion. But, this Friday night, I'm blessed. I have two great patriots who are going to join me, and that's going to be Dangerous Freedom from Arizona and Disabled Vets Perspective from the Panhandle of Florida. So we're going to have I don't really want to call it a panel. We're going to have a discussion. And thankfully, I've got two guys that can really talk. So I'm going to be blessed in the fact that I'm not going to have to do that much work to get this done, because these guys are going to carry it for me. And I know you're all going to be really happy, when that happens. So Hawk the Farm James, man, glad you're here. I haven't seen you before. If you don't mind, brother, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon and the like. Man, I need your help. Harley's Guns. Let me make sure I get this right. Harley's Guns. Harley's God, Guns, and Rednecks. Amen. And evidently, there's Sam, Sandra Ann McGibbon, Rooster Cogburn. The Life of Alan 44. Man, I'm glad you're here. I haven't seen you before. If you've been here, I've missed you. So, Rooster Cogburn, I don't know what that means, is dying on my way. But we got Sandra Ann McGibbon, and we have Darla Tidwell. We have Margot Dahlgren, Rooster Cogburn, Sandra Ann McGibbon, Harley Guns and Roses, Hawk the Family James. Hawk, you'll see that on my videos and my live streams, I shout out everybody in the chat, just like Life of Alan 44, Philip Turner, Colleen, CLC in Florida, my dear friend. And of course, we have DM, the best mod on YouTube. She is everywhere. She has to have clones. I told her that the other day on a chat. I said, I asked her how many clones she had. Well, she's got to have a bunch, because I'm going to tell you what, DM is awesome. DM and History V. History V is another one. I haven't seen her in here yet, but I'm going to tell you something. History V has a great channel. And DM and History V, and DM, make sure that I say this right. It's the DMV report, I believe is the exact name. Feel free to put that in the chat so everybody will see it here in a little while when we get more people in here. But we already have 2 or 3 new people. So they need to know, DM, when you and History V are going live, and they need a link to know how to get there. So it's on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. They got a great show. I mean, DM and History V, they carry this off like professionals. And they are professionals, in my opinion. So, Linda Carter, one of your best John Wayne movies. Rooster Cogburn, yeah, you're right. It was one of the best. Fred Naught's in here, and I'm going to tell you, my brothers and sisters, that's fantastic. I'm really happy to see all of you in here. I'm just learning how to operate this StreamYard thing, so y'all have to bear with me. Margot, Ancient Drummer, glad you're here. I just saw you pop up. See if there's anyone else I missed. There's Linda Carter, Ancient Drummer, Fred Knott, Sam, Darla Tidwell, and Harley's God's Guns and Rednecks. We'll get a few more in here before it's too late. And before I get started, I know you hear me talk about Spirit Talker all the time and Spirit Dancer. Well, Spirit Dancer had some surgery today for a major medical problem. So keep her in your prayers. Last I heard, she's out of surgery. She's going to be going home tonight, but she's going home with devices. And BHOHRC whistleblower, man, I don't know who you were. Okay, Awake and Angry. Hey, how are you doing? Wait, I'm glad to see you here. I like that new name though. HRC whistleblower, that'll work. Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rotten Clinton whistleblower. Man, that's a good one. You got Finley River Kennels in here. And thank you, Finley River Kennels, for that like. I appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'm in a funk, so I need all those subscribers I can get. We got to get past this 1260 number, so YouTube will leave me alone for a day or two. The way I've seen it happen in the last couple of months, and this is really weird, ever since I hit 1,200 subscribers, I would get to a certain point, like 1,230, and I would bounce back and forth for 2 weeks between 1,230 and 1,238. Well, then all of a sudden I got to 1,245, and then it was between 1,245 and 1,250, back and forth, up and down for 2 weeks. I finally got to 1,263, and now I'm right back at 1,258 again. So today, I mean, in just a matter of an hour, I've lost 5, gained 6, and lost 7. So I don't know how YouTube does this stuff, people. If y'all have an idea how this works, shoot me an email, a text, or a phone call. Speaking of phone calls, let me throw that up there for you, brother. Y'all feel free. Call this number anytime. That's an internet phone number, and if I'm at home, which I usually am, I'll talk to you, and you can't tell that you're not talking on a regular telephone line, a regular cell tower or whatever. It's over the internet, but it works great. And you don't have to do nothing but dial that number, and I'll answer. Friday night, Disabled Vets Perspective and Dangerous Freedom will be coming on my show, and we're going to do a live. Well, the Friday after that, I have a special treat for you, especially for those patriots who believe in the truth and the right and the good of God and His Son Jesus Christ and what His plan is for us here on earth. You need to tune in that night. That'll be the 25th. I'll have Liberty Smith with me. Liberty Smith is a dear brother of mine, and I can't say enough good about him. But I'm going to have him on here the 25th, and we're going to talk some spiritual talk that night. So, History B, you made it. Thank you. I just gave you a big shout out along with DM at Dangerous Freedom, my brother Ron in Arizona. How are you doing, brother? And Liberty Smith finally made it, of course. So, Liberty, I'm going to tell you now, I know you like to post those phone numbers, so you feel free to post them. Post the president and anything else that you have to where we can have our viewers and our supporters like John T. Cash. Glad you're here. I saw you in here a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week. Glad you came back. So what you need to do, Liberty Smith, is post those phone numbers for these people to call. Because the time's coming. We're going to have to start doing something. We patriots have to get off of our hands and get off of our butts. And we're going to have to start doing something. And I hope we do something maybe in a way to get things moving, in our government, rather than to use those. I'll be honest with you, my friends. I get all crossed up here when I'm doing this, but there you go, right there. That is a 120-year anniversary Army issued K-bar knife that I got from Knight's Armory. And I want you to know that if you want a knife of any kind, you can get it from Knight's Armory and American Joe. DM, I always mess this up, but I think it's American Freedom Supply. You go to that website and you can order any kind of knife that you want, and I guarantee you one thing, it will be sharp and it will be US made. The feds actually did some good this week. They took down the largest child porn industry in the world. And it was in South Korea, believe it or not. But the feds took it down. And I'm going to have to give them a kudo for that. We have to protect our children. I've always been pro-life, and I've always been an active advocate for our children. The trafficked, the exploited, the abused, the sexually abused. And I'm not going to go there tonight, but even the devoured. And something new's come up here in the last couple of days. Twitter's all up in arms, and they're upset. They're starting a new campaign, and they're going to ban certain things on Twitter from people like Trump and world leaders. They're going to set new rules for specific content on Twitter, and there's going to be a lot of things that you can't say. So this, by Twitter, is nothing more than an attack on our First Amendment rights of free speech. But they're attacking President Trump. They want to stop him from talking to you and me personally, See, that's what I like about our president. You know, he doesn't have to go through, you know, Kellyanne Conway or any of his spokesmen if he doesn't want to. They're out there as a courtesy to the mainstream media, you know, so they can ask their loaded questions. But Trump goes directly to the people on Twitter and he says what he wants to say, no matter what anybody thinks. So I'll tell you this much, Twitter. If you do that and you start censoring our president, I guarantee you he's going to come up with something else that'll go around you and he'll still get his message out. This president is not going to be taken down by the likes of Twitter. Believe me, if he wanted to, he could commandeer the airwaves and he could come to us live every day if he wanted to. And if it comes to that, that's fine with me. But they're not going to censor our president. He's not going to allow it, and neither are we. I have a question, and it's sort of bothering me because I was looking through the archives of the last couple of weeks, and I found something that Biden said, and it sort of struck a note with me, and I went, wait a minute, what is that? That doesn't sound just right. It says that Biden says we need to get Trump out by the 17th. Well, that's tomorrow. Well, it just so happens, guess where he's going to be tomorrow? He's going to be in Dallas, Texas. What happened the last time they needed to get someone out? Do you remember that? They've already tried to assassinate our president over 12 times. They've tried so many soft coups that it's funny to even think about. And now they're trying this phony impeachment stuff. I'm going to tell you, my friends, I've told you before, and I believe it with all my heart. These demon rats are not afraid to commit murder. They're not. They're not above it. You know, we have nothing but liars and cons and cheats and thieves and Satanists, socialists and neocons. And they're in both parties. Look at how many people have on the Republican side of the ticket. How many of them have called for the censure of Adam Schiff for that flagrant lie he told the world as well as Congress from his chairman chair of the Intelligence Committee. Okay? We're going to allow this just to keep going? Or do we need to start looking at things a little differently? Why did Joe Biden said we need to get him out by the 17th? That causes me concern. But I'm sure that the president and his security service as well as the Secret Service have this well covered. But I don't know. But it does cause me to wonder, what in the world does the 17th hold for Joe Biden? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But you know, if Trump survives, if he doesn't get taken out, he's going to win in 2020, just like he did in 2016, but he's going to win like he's never won before. Well, I've got some people in here. Linda Carter, DM, Philip Turner, Liberty Smith, my brother. Dangerous Freedom, my dear friend and brother. Yeah, we got to shout out a couple of people. I've already shouted DM and History B, the DMB report. We have Disabled Vets Perspective, Dangerous Freedom, Liberty Smith, Pete the Patriot. What can you say about Pete the Patriot? I'll tell you, Pete's a great guy. He has a great show. and he works really hard at what he does. And I'm gonna tell you, he's a great guy. I've talked to him, and one of these days we're going to get together and we're going to do something together. But it just hasn't worked out. The last time we had something planned, well, that came up right during the 24-hour marathon for Douglas Ducote and American Joe and the Border Command 24-hour marathon. So we had to call it off. But we're going to get it back together again, and we're going to do this. We got Florida Gym and Knight's Armory and the American Joe Show. Who can say enough about American Joe? American Joe comes on a lot of times right after me, and then on Sunday he and Lee have a Bible study, and I try to catch that every time I can. And God Bless America is in here as well as the Conservative Patriot. Great to see you, my friends. It's good to see you in here. It's a Wednesday night, and I certainly didn't expect to get all of you in here on a Wednesday night, but I thank you. So I'm going to get into this a little bit, and I want to talk about what happened last week on CNN. I'm not going to talk about the debates. The debates they've been covered by everybody. And this probably has too. It's just that I don't watch mainstream media, so I really don't know. But I want to let you know that last week, CNN held what they called the Equality Town Hall. This was nothing more than the LGBTQUHRSTUV forum. It's plain and simple. If they want to go by the LGBTQ, you might as well give them a whole bunch of other letters. Maybe we could even start throwing numbers in, because I'm going to tell you, these idiots. Just today, I read an article where we have 87 different genders. My friend, that's an impossibility. How can you have 87 different genders? It's stupid. It's against God. God was the one who said, let us make man in our own image and give him dominion over the earth. And that's paraphrasing. I'm not quoting scripture. I'm not trying to. But a man and a woman is what marriage was meant to be all about. A man was to leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife and become one flesh. It doesn't say anything about the other 86 or 85 fleshes. I mean, what are they doing? Are they instituting stuff like bestiality and stuff like that? Is that a normal gender now, just like pedophilia? In the 9th grade in California, they teach that pedophilia is a natural sexual norm, that it's ordinary and there's nothing wrong with it, that it's a normal sexual orientation. So that means in California, if you're 16 years old or under, you can rape an 11-year-old kid and get away with it and nothing will be done, because it's okay. That's what they're teaching. But you see, that's what they do, is they put everything that they do right out in front of us for us to see. They don't hide what they're doing. They're so blatant. And I'll tell you, I've heard it said before that they have to tell us what they're doing, that's part of the deal with Satan. You know, I don't know if they have to tell us what they're doing, but they certainly don't hide it. This so-called town hall revealed, oh, it was so radical. But anyway, it revealed the radical drives of the Dem Party in 2019. Candidates and audience members advocated for wholesale government, compelled social engineering to agree with their liberal and socialist, neocon, Satanist, secular, humanist agenda. And if I could have got it all out in one breath, then I would have added a couple of more to that list. You know, you have these people like Beto. Oh, I think I'm a Kennedy O'Rourke. What a joke. He threatened to rescind tax-exempt status of churches that don't support same-sex marriage. And he continued his assault on our Second Amendment. Apparently, Beto is no longer content to destroy our Second Amendment. Beto also wants to promote changing and removing our First Amendment as well. Seems like Beto wants to go to war with the churches and religious institutions. Have you ever heard of holy war? I think that happened, I couldn't tell you exactly when, but remember the Renaissance? You know, to be honest, I'm not sure Beto ever understood the implications of what he had said. You know, the idea of stripping churches of their tax-exempt status for not blessing and supporting same-sex marriage. Beto, you have a war. And there'll be a war on your hands that you cannot hope to ever win. When the time comes, if it is something like this idiot, Beto, I think I'm a Kennedy O'Rourke, if it is somebody like him who gets in the White House one day, certainly not before 2024. Because Trump's got this sewed up. Beto's just a young guy, so he's got years to become president. I guarantee you he's going to keep trying. And not just him, all these other demon rats are going to keep on trying. Just like Hillary's kept on trying, just like Joe Biden. You can't get rid of him. He's ran for president 3 times, and the 2 prior times he never had more than 1%. And now you have Hillary Clinton. Drop it like Scott. Glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. But I'll tell you, Hillary Clinton is already talking about throwing her hat in the ring for the 2020 presidential nomination. She said just yesterday that she's beat him before and she can beat him again. Well, I imagine she was talking about the popular vote, because she certainly didn't beat him in the general election. But the thing about it is, we have people like her and Michael Obama. I saw an article, as a matter of fact, I've seen articles every day this week on her, and all of them are saying that she needs to run. All she has to do is put her name in the hat, and she immediately goes to the front of the pack. All of the support will go directly to her. People, I'm going to tell you, this stuff is starting to get a little scary. I'm not concerned with creepy Uncle Pedophile Joe Biden. He's a goner. He's done. Dennis Lawson, glad you're here, my friend. Conservative patriot. Joshua Conlon, my friend. Let me look up here and see if I've missed anybody. God bless America. Armed American patriot. I haven't called you out yet, brother. Thank you for being here. And drop it like Scott Steak 59. I haven't called you out yet either, man. Glad you're here. And I'll tell you, it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing on a Wednesday night to have all my friends here. And Joshua, Disabled Best Perspective, made it in. Good deal, brother. I just gave you a big shout out a few minutes ago. But you know, to be honest, I'm not sure that Beto even understood what he said. And I just told you that. I don't think that he has any idea about what he's talking about. And he's going to have that war on his hands if he attacks our churches one day. It won't be in the next 8 years, I guarantee you that. But he's probably not going to disappear, from the political scene. He's going to be like Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. And Hillary Clinton. They just keep coming back. You can't get rid of them. You defeat them soundly. You put them on their heels. You send them home with their tail tucked between their legs. And somehow they come back again. Maybe we don't need to cut their legs out from under them and send them home with their tail tucked. Maybe we need to send them to Gitmo and put their head in their hands. That's what we need to do. We need to get rid of these pedophiles in our government and these corrupt politicians. Why in the world did Trump sign that executive order saying that corruption and human trafficking of any kind carries the death penalty? Why did he also say that we'll have military tribunals? I don't think he said it for no reason. I don't know if, I really don't think it'll happen between now and the 2020 election. But after he's reelected, I'm hoping that we see some of these elite heads start to roll. It would make my day. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm getting tired of sitting and waiting. You got people like Jeffrey Epstein, and then you have, what was her name? The actress off of Smallville, getting caught up in human trafficking. Well, these are just the little people. We need to get the big people. Let's get the Clintons and Soros and the Rothschilds and Smithfields, Windsors, all 13 of the elite families. Get them all, the Morgans, the Podestas, Soros. Come on, they're everywhere. Let's go right into our Congress right now. We could clean out half of our Congress for being pedophiles. Look at Sheila Jackson Lee. She sat there at the Kavanaugh hearings and she wore a ring on her finger that was that big, and it was nothing but a boy love symbol of a triangle inside a triangle. And she proudly held that thing up for the camera for everybody to see. They don't hide what they're doing. They think we're too stupid to see. They want to slap us in the face. They want us to think that we're total idiots and that we don't know what they're doing. But we have to have woke eyes. We have to have ears that listen and brains that understand the truth of what these people are really doing. I don't claim to have special insight from God by no means, shape, form, or fashion. But I do have an insight because God gave me a brain. I can read, I can study, I can find things, and then I can try to decipher it and make sense out of it. And sometimes the only sense you can make out of this garbage that you run across and that you find is the truth. And the truth will make you sick. It's representative of the radical left's inability to seek compromise on any level. The woke leftist mob cannot be placated with anything short of total submission to their leftist Satanist agenda. And that's what they want. They want us to placate to them and to bow down and accept their Satanist agenda and just shut up. The extremists of the social justice warrior movement, they don't want you to just allow gay marriage, especially in our churches, all of our churches, of all kinds. They want to remove all sexual norms in our society as a means of attack against conservative Christians. People, that's sad. That's plumb sick. I'm going to jump right quick over to a Crow Minion. Glad you're here. I just saw you. I want to give you a shout out. I want to talk a little bit about one of Dangerous Freedom's favorite topics, and that's going to be red flag laws. I'm just going to run through this real quick because I've got something right here that I want to bring you tonight, and I hope I get to it. But Colorado's red flag laws are disturbing and dangerous, as well as confusing beyond any imagination. I've read the law. It's called HB 191177, and I discovered that red flag laws are much worse than we actually know or even thought about. Since the writing of this HB 1911-77 bill, gun confiscation order, the law was peddled as a vital need to help reform mental health because the law enforcement would have new tools and ways of taking our guns. This is an absolute fact, my friends. Red flag laws are about nothing more than gun confiscation from legal gun owners. If House Bill 1911-77, was really about mental health issues instead of taking our guns, then why were the words mental health only mentioned 4 times in the entire bill? But yet the firearms were mentioned 104 times. So mental health was mentioned 4 times. Firearms was mentioned 104. And this bill is supposed to be about mental health and red flag laws. Well, you see where this is going. This isn't about mental health, and we all know it's all about disarming Americans and shredding our constitutional rights afforded to us by the Constitution of the United States and our Second Amendment. This is all a gun confiscation scheme and nothing more. This is gun control right in our face. Here are a few of the dangers of the reality of red flag laws. But by the way, this law also calls for non-knock raids. You know what a no-knock raid is? That means they come in, knock your door down, and just do their thing. I'll get to it in a second. In Colorado, practically anyone can request a red flag confiscation order, but the gun owner doesn't know anything until his door is broken down and he wakes up out of a deep sleep with guns and flashlights in your face. They might even kill your family pets in order to take you and your guns by force. The law states that just about anyone can petition for an extreme risk protection order, even your stock boy at the grocery store, the guy who you pay your money to for cigarettes, your mailman, literally anybody that has your address can turn you in. But you know, it's all set in motion because of these red flag laws. And these red flag laws are against you and me. They absolutely have nothing to do to protect anyone. Now they're coming by force to take your guns, and your Second Amendment rights no longer exist. And by the way, Colorado charges $97 to take out a temporary restraining order against your husband or your girlfriend or somebody you're having an argument with. Just a normal restraining order. They charge $97. But anyone who's involved in a red flag call in, if you're reporting that, to file that report, it costs absolutely nothing. Can you imagine that? They put no price on filing a red flag report. But yet, to have a restraining order against your wife or husband or girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, it's going to cost you $97. But the stock boy from the store can pick up the phone and call. He never has to pay a dime. All he has to do is say that you have guns and he's scared of you. And they're going to come take your guns. And if you think I'm lying, it's already happening. It's already happened in places like New Jersey and New York. And Colorado is going to be next. I promise you, Colorado is going to be next. You know, I thought Colorado was full of mountain men, you know, the rough and hardy and take it on the chin and keep going kind of people. But it looks to me like there's a lot of liberal demon rats up there. Did you catch everything I just said? Red flag laws can be done on the phone and no-knock raids on your home and family, all for free. It costs nobody nothing but you. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money to defend yourself. It's going to cost you money to get your guns back if you ever do. And what condition will they be in when you do get them back? Who's to say they don't take these guns and throw them in a garbage bin? This is a little old piece of crap up here, but it shoots good. And it'll pop. I got a 20 round clip in it. So they're going to come take this gun and probably my knife too. So they're going to leave me without a weapon. But they're going to take my knife and my gun and they're going to throw it into a dumpster, if you'll have it. They're going to throw it in a dumpster of some sort, and they're going to let it bang around and get beat up and throw more guns on top of it. And I guarantee you, if you ever do get your guns back, they're not going to be in the condition they were when they took them. I promise you that. I'd venture to say that most of them won't even be fireable when you get them back. Do you think they're going to take those guns and put them in a nice little gun safe, and put your name on it, and the date, your address, so they make sure they get it back to you? No. They throw those guns in a barrel or a bucket or a dumpster of some sort. When I was a kid, I can prove this because when I was a kid, my dad worked for the city of Marietta. He was a purchasing director there, but he knew every cop that there was. And he'd go up there. He knew the jailers and everybody in the jail. And every so often, he'd bring me a box of knives that they had confiscated off of prisoners. I'm talking switchblades, stilettos, Barlows, K-bars, every kind of knife you can imagine. And that's what they're going to do with your guns. They're just going to throw them in a big box. They're not going to take care of them. And then you have 14 days. And during that 14-day frame, the court needs only the lowest burden of truth, or proof rather, to keep your guns for 364 days. And you can do absolutely nothing about it but wait. And then wait for what? For the crooked court to do it all over again once you get your guns back? Do you see what I'm saying? If they take your guns once, well, then you're known to be a red flag. And as soon as you get them, if you get them, they're going to take them back again. It's a never-ending circle. Jeff Brandau, glad you're here. Chris Link, glad to see you, brother. I try to catch up with y'all in the chat when I can. But sometimes I miss you, and if I do, I apologize. Red flag laws are unconstitutional and is in violation of our Second Amendment, is in violation of our Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, is in violation of our Fifth Amendment, due process. It's in violation of the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. My friends, I've wanted to get to this. It's going to take me more than 16 minutes to do it. So I guess I'll save it. So if you have any questions for me, I don't know what to say. I guess I should have started this one first because it'll probably take me an extra 15 minutes. And I don't know. DM, maybe could you leave me something in the chat? Who's going on behind me at 9 o'clock? Do you know of anybody? Is it American Joe or is anybody going on after me? If not, I'll go over 10 minutes and I'll bring this to you. But I need to know that I'm not walking on my friends like American Joe. I know he likes to go on at 9. So what am I going to do? I really don't want to start on this because it'll probably take me a good 20 minutes. So I guess maybe I should just get out of here 15 minutes early. Or maybe not. Dangerous freedom. Okay, I didn't see Hang in there. Let me talk to the chat a little bit. Six-string gunner. Okay, man, I didn't see that. Let's see what you had to say. Make a game of it. Set up a target with nails. See if a hanger will catch one. Hey, cool, man. Sounds like a winner. And then Liberty Smith says, then there's a straw of violence. Yeah, I know. We got to watch out for those straws. Dennis Lawson said, Jeff, my brother, is in the same thing. I hope you get them back. Oh, I hear what you're saying, brother. Yeah, I don't know. But they've been doing this, from the very beginning. Let's see what Jeff Brandow had to say. I have to get a psychiatrist to tell me I don't have a mental illness, and now now I've never had any type of mental condition. But you have to understand, Jeff, you went to a psychiatrist. It doesn't matter why you went. You went to a psychiatrist, so now you have a record of mental illness. You only go to a psychiatrist when you need help with your mental illness, So, yeah, Jeff, watch out for them. Let's see here. Crow Minion says, no red flags in Arizona. Yeah, you're right. I talk to Dangerous Freedom all the time in Arizona. He's in Mesa. And he tells me that all the time. And you said, and none pending. And you say, maybe I just need to move to Arizona. I'm pretty sure I'll stay that way. We have among the best gun laws in the country. But we have pretty good laws here in the country too, in Georgia, but not like you have in Arizona. Whoa, what did Darla say? Oh, she's saying LOL, LOL. Didn't know what was up. Let's see. Make sure. Yeah, Paulo, Pete, and Alex. Paulo, Pete, and Alex. At Fact and Beyond. Yeah, cool, man. That's great. Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Okay, Pete's on at 9. Then I will definitely get off of here. I won't worry about doing that other story. I'll save that for another night. It won't be Friday because I'm going to have 2 special guests. I'm going to have Dangerous Freedom from Arizona, and I'm going to have Disabled Vets Perspective from the Panhandle of Florida joining me. So we're going to have fun on Friday night, and then the following Friday night, Liberty Smith has offered to join me. When I asked him, he said sure. So we're going to get him on here too, and I'd like to, in time, work something out with Pete the Patriot and DM and History B. I know that y'all remember that Pete is on at 9. So when I get out of here, you be sure to jump right over there right away. So all I can ask of any of you, if you're not a subscriber, just subscribe, like, comment, and hit the bell icon. I'm going to give my shout outs over again, and that will probably take up most of my time. But you have to remember DM and History B on Friday nights at the DMV Report. Disabled Vets Perspective. He comes on Sunday night at 7 p.m. right before me. But he also does other things. He's appearing on a lot of shows. He's going on a lot of panels, and he's added a couple of nights to his schedule. So go to Disabled Vets Perspective and subscribe if you're not. But if you see, hit that bell icon so you'll know when he's going live or leaving you a video. And it's the same way, for Dangerous Freedom and Liberty Smith and Pete the Patriot. Great guy. Pete the Patriot. And of course, you have Florida Jim and Knight's Armory and the American Joe Show, Douglas Ducote. There's so many great people out there. I don't want to just keep running my mouth, but let's see if I can come up with something here. If I even start on this, I'll regret it. So leave it to precise that I had 8 pages here, but I wanted to bring you on Songbird John McCain. But instead of doing that, I'll lay the papers aside because what I had written here is not what I'm fixing to say. I didn't add a lot of stuff to that writing because it would have been too long and there was too much to add. But let's suffice it to say that John Abstain McCain was not really all that smart. To be honest with you, he was mediocre at the best. When he went to Annapolis to the Naval Academy, he barely graduated. He graduated in the bottom 2% of his class. I mean, he was nothing to brag about. Even though his father and grandfather were admirals, which played into him even getting in to Annapolis, and they probably jimmied his test scores so that he would graduate. But anyway, John McCain was on the USS Forester. And he was flying. Actually, he flew jets. I don't know how he learned, but he learned to fly jets somewhat. And he was doing bombing runs over Vietnam. Well, they were getting ready to take off on a bombing run. They were on this aircraft carrier. And I'll tell you what, I was looking through this today, and I found this story a year ago on John McCain. And then today, when I went looking, man, I found several stories where everything was changed. I couldn't find that story that I'd looked at a year ago when I did the writing. All I could find today was that it wasn't John McCain who dropped his bombs on his own ship. They were sitting on the ship ready to take off. John McCain, because of his nerves and being so excited and upset because he's having to wait in line, he's ready to go, he accidentally released his bombs on his own ship, at least one bomb. Well, the story is that 168 sailors died because that bomb rolled over. It only dropped a few feet to the deck from the bottom of the jet, and then it rolled into fuel tanks and exploded. And it killed 168 sailors. And one of them was not John McCain. Can you imagine? But they tried to say today, when I went and researched this, they tried to say that, oh, it was the pilot behind him dropped his bomb and it rolled into McCain's plane, and, you know, trying to make excuses for this treacherous traitor who was never a hero to America. I'm going to tell you, he had broke arms. Yeah, he did. His arms were all broke up. So were his legs. But you know why? Do you know why he was so injured? It wasn't because the Vietnamese beat him like he said they did, like he lied and said that they beat him and broke his arms and legs. It did not happen. John McCain broke his bones because when he ejected from his plane that had just been shot down because he was flying against orders below altitude, and he got shot down. And like Trump said, it takes no hero to be shot out of the air. But anyway, McCain ejected. And like an idiot, evidently he missed class that day. Maybe he was out snorting cocaine somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, he missed that class because when you eject out of an airplane, and even a ground pounder army grunt like me knows, anytime you eject out of anything, you cross your arms, you tuck in, and you go with it. But no, not abstain John McCain. No. This idiot pulls his eject button. He's got his arms all flailing out like this and his legs all spraddled. Well, yeah. Ejecting out of that jet at 600 miles an hour broke his arms and legs because he didn't know how to properly eject. But yet he could fly this plane. And this happened just 3 months after the Forrester incident, where all those soldiers were killed. But see, everything's been changed. All the history's been changed now to exonerate John McCain from having anything to do with that fire on the Forrester. But it was funny up until just a little while ago. It was right there to see and right there to read. But now it's gone. I guess when he died, they went through his legacy and they got rid of everything that was detrimental or bad for abstain John McCain. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me, and they just really aren't going to be happy at all about this. But when I bring you this information on abstain John McCain, let me tell you, he was no patriot. He was no hero. He was known as Songbird. That was the name that the Vietnamese gave him. Songbird. Because he gave ship locations, he gave strategies, he gave out the number of individuals on individual ships, what individual ships were in the area, and what their purpose was. Look, he was a traitor, plain and simple. And yeah, he did. He did say when they gave him a chance to come home, he said, "No, I'll stay here with his other prisoner of war friends." Well, let me tell you, he didn't do that on his own. His father and his grandfather, both admirals, got a message to him, say, "Son, stay there, because if you come home, you'll never be president." And you see, even back then, that's what they thought was going to happen. They thought that he was going to be a war hero because he got shot down and survived 5.5 years in a POW camp. He may have survived 5.5 years in a POW camp, but I guarantee you, he didn't suffer much. The only thing he suffered from was from his own broken bones that he broke himself because he was an idiot and didn't know how to eject out of an airplane. That's plain and simple. I'm not going to go into it now, but I promise you, come Sunday night, I'm going to bring this to you and I'm going to tell you the whole story, and I'm not going to mince words. I call a spade a spade. I don't care if it's against the right or if it's against the left, if it's against good or if it's against evil. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And if it's news, then I need to bring it to you. And I'm going to tell you, after I saw John McCain plan his own funeral, and he had 5 funerals. People, 5 televised funerals. What man deserves that? Never a president in history had a funeral like he had. But that was part of the price that we had to pay to get rid of him. I'm not going to talk about it now, but think about this. I was in the medical field for 18 years, and I know a lot of people who died of cancer. You don't die of cancer one day after stopping chemo. It just don't happen. He was given an out, and in order to save his legacy, he got to plan his own funeral. That's a different story. It's a different time. I'll bring it all to you Sunday night. I made it to my 9 o'clock hour, and I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to tell you I love you, and I thank you for being here, listening to my rhetoric, and listening to me ramble on. But as we leave out of here tonight, dear God, Heavenly Father, God, we thank you once again for the opportunity to call your name. Lord, thank you for being with us tonight. Lord, thank you for being in our midst. Lord, thank you for all of these great patriots who joined us tonight. Lord, I want to thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. And Lord, the sacrifices he made to cover our sin. Lord, be with us. And Lord, I always say it, to lead us, Lord, and guide us and direct us in the way that you'd have us to go. Lord, let us look to you in hard times. And Lord, let us look to you in good times. Lord, you're not just there when we struggle and look to you. Lord, we need to look to you every day, all day long, and know that you are Lord. Thank you, God, for tonight. Lord, thank you for being with us. Lord, in Jesus' name, I pray these things. So be it, and amen. Everybody, I love you. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to jump over there, and I'm going to see Pete the Patriot. It's 9:01. Head on over there, guys. I'll see you there.